All right, I'm going to give you some tips on how to use your hot foam tool to make smooth cuts. So this is my foam, and this is from my Easter project that I just cut out, and I did use this attachment here. So, and I'll show you, but of course everything's turned off right now. So this is the one that I do like to use the most now. It is the wire attachment one. You want your wire to not be too loose, but you also do not want it to be too tight so that it pops off. It is really easy to rewire this or restring it if you need to. You just pull it and wrap it around and cut off the excess. So I've done that a couple of times already now, but my tool is 2 years old. I've had it over 2 years. I've only replaced this twice. I was originally really hesitant to use this one just because it was hard. So you guys are not doing anything wrong when you're struggling with it. It takes practice. So that's what I'm here to talk about. I used this just straight rod attachment. You can tell it's like all gunky and stuff. I don't really clean it. It just burns off, but this is what I use. You can change these out really easily, just like this, when you want to use the different attachments. But I used this one for, honestly, probably the first whole year, just because I was too intimidated to use this one and didn't know how. So this one works perfectly fine. You will have a lot more control. It doesn't make as smooth cuts, and it goes a little bit slower. This still goes slow. Do not get me wrong. My videos are sped up because it would be boring to watch if it was not sped up. So I will show you guys kind of some tips and tricks on how to use it, but it's easier to explain before I'm doing it because I have a mask on and I don't really feel like doing a voiceover on it. But I learned how to do it by practicing. Get some scrap pieces of foam. The best thing to do is you're trying to hold your hand, I guess, level with the ground, because you're going to get level cuts that way. And the best way to do it is you're going into the foam and then you're pulling away from yourself. And as that's tugging, you got a little bit of tautness going on with your string, and that's what provides you this smooth cut, because as soon as that gets loose, that's where your cuts are going to get wobbly. So that's just a little tip that I have to get your lines a little bit straight. But again, it took me some practice, and that's what you're going to have to do as well with your scrap pieces of foam. Okay, I got this plugged in. It only takes, honestly, like 20 seconds to heat up and you can get started. Also, a great tip is using some cookie cutters. I did that to make shapes. Other than that, I was just playing around with it when I first started. But if you're wanting to like follow a design, then cookie cutters are a great alternative. But real time right here, it already stinks. I got to put my mask on. And it's not horrible, but you don't want to breathe this in. So wear a mask. I have it linked in my storefronts. If you need a mask, definitely get one. Anyhow, let's just get started. So you're going to go into your cuts like this and just play around. Start doing some wiggly lines to see. This is real-time speed, to see what you could do. So go see how far in you can go and then pull it back. So it's just that steady pulling and tugging without being too hard. That looks like a middle finger right there. But just play around and you'll get the feel of it. So one thing you don't want to do is like start turning like this, because you're going to get weird angled cuts. Let's see if we can break this out. Whoa. So see how when I turned it, I got those slants. That's why you want to keep this level to the ground. So this is always fun to practice with too, just chopping that off. We can chop that off. So when you're cutting and you're wanting to do design, just start like this and pull away from you. See how the first little few seconds is always the wobbliest? That's real-time speed, and cut it off. That's how smooth it looks. I know it's hard to tell, but those are smooth cuts, and I'll show you how it will look with the other one. So here's the other one, the straight rod tool. And again, some people clean them off. They said cardboard's really good to clean it off. I don't use this one too often anymore, just because I really just like the sound of the other one and how smooth it is. But this one, sometimes you need to do something like in the center of your board, and obviously the wire one can't reach it. So this one's great for cutting out center things. So it's still heating up, but it's already gonna be hot enough to where I can poke a hole through here and start cutting out my design like this. So this is real-time speed 2, and it goes really slow, but if you need to cut out something in the center, you just do that. Just get that off of there. But so this is pretty stringy and messy. So that's the other thing. Still kind of same thing with this one. You'll just kind of go in, you want to try to stay level, and you're letting it just glide and do the work for you. You do not want to be like this and really pushing it and just pulling on it and bending it. And you also don't want to do this motion. This is going to get you really bumpy cuts. It seems like it goes faster, so you're gonna want to do that, but try to avoid it because it's not as smooth like this. And then you're going to get less strings. You're still going to get strings like that. I don't know if you can see it. You're going to get strings like that. And then you just use sandpaper. But see, look at the inside of that one. It's not as smooth of a cut. It is a more easier tool to use when you're first starting, but it's just not as smooth. And that's why I like the other one better. But that's what sandpaper is for. So that one just gets stuck. But again, I'm just rambling on, but I feel like this might help some of you. You just let it do its work. Mine's kind of bending a little bit, but you also don't want to start going like this because you're not going to get, it's not going to be straight. So when you have bigger pieces, just put them on a surface that you can stay flat and just follow your guide. Just let it melt and do the work. Just like that. But that's what that looks like. So it kind of looks burnt. Not a big deal. A lot of times you're going to paint this or you're going to use sandpaper anyhow, so don't worry about it. I get little sandpaper sheets like this. It is just like 3M little sandpaper sheets, and that way you can just smooth out any of those strings or any places that you made a mistake. Just go back and forth. Still wear your mask when you're doing this too. Sometimes you might want to wear gloves. It might irritate some people's hands, but you can get those smoothed out. So it's not a big deal. Either tool, whoa, sorry, you were out of focus. Either tool you can use. My favorite's just the other one, but you can smooth these out. So I hope that helps.